And they put out signature Caitlin Clark balls and other merch that literally sold out within minutes of the...
Nike has finally recognized who the real star of the WNBA is and is now going all in on promoting Caitlin Clark, even dropping custom Nike Infinity Tour 2 golf shoes in her honor. After catching heat for not showing enough support early on, Nike seems to be making up for lost time. But not everyone's thrilled about the shift. Aya Wilson reportedly isn't happy, and plenty of fans still believe she's the true number one.
28 years old, 1,000 points in the regular season. Why is that not the biggest story out at the moment? And why are we talking about Caitlin Clark?
Exactly. Why when Asia was releasing a shoe were we talking about Caitlin?
Aya Wilson sees herself as the star, the main draw, and believes she should be the face of WNBA marketing. Statistically, she's arguably been the best player this year. But when it comes to marketability, the numbers tell a different story. Caitlin Clark's merchandise sells out almost instantly, like a plain black t-shirt that disappeared in under an hour. In contrast, Aya's products haven't generated the same buzz. The difference in consumer response is hard to ignore.
Wilson is the best player in the league. Well, she has come out and she has made some more comments, and it is like these players just don't want these new fans, even though the new fans are the ones that drive the revenue, plain and simple.
Aya Wilson still believes she can compete with Caitlin Clark, and Nike once claimed it would step up its promotion of her. But it's clear that promise didn't materialize in a meaningful way, and it didn't move the needle. Now, with Caitlin getting the spotlight, Aya seems to be struggling with the shift. The spotlight's hot, and not everyone handles the heat the same way.
On the court doesn't always equate to how many shoes you will...
Nike is finally trying with Caitlin Clark promotion, even with A'ja Wilson trying to stand in their way. At least they as a company have finally seen sense. They know who the real star is and are putting their all into Caitlin. Let's hope A'ja doesn't sabotage CC's chances like she tried to a few weeks ago.
Boys that I don't really listen to, honestly, because I'm in season. I have other things that we need to worry about than what other people have to.
Nike initially stood by Aya Wilson, keeping her as their primary WNBA representative. But as Caitlin Clark's fan base exploded, the company had little choice but to shift its focus. Clark was dominating conversations across social media, sports media, and even among casual basketball fans who hadn't previously followed the WNBA. It became clear to Nike that this wasn't just hype. It was a movement. Clark represented the future of women's basketball, and failing to support her could mean missing out on a golden opportunity.
A bunch of these players to get very jealous and petty very quickly.
For Aya Wilson, Nike's shift in focus wasn't just a business move. It felt personal, even like a betrayal. After all, Nike had invested heavily in her, and for a while, they held off on making any major changes. Wilson was their trusted star, the face they had backed for years. But over time, hesitation gave way to reality. Caitlin Clark wasn't just performing on the court, she was sparking a movement. Clark connected with audiences in a way that couldn't be ignored, especially with young fans who looked up to her, mimicked her game, and flocked to her merchandise. And that's where Nike saw a different kind of opportunity. Young fans are among the most valuable customers. They're loyal, they buy frequently, and they influence those around them. It was a level of cultural influence that, despite her excellence, Aya Wilson hadn't been able to deliver.
Somebody coming along and elevating the sport shine ultimately benefits you. Go out there, compete with her, try to bust her up if you want to, and all of that stuff. Just don't hate on the acclaim that she's getting.
As Clark's popularity grew, Nike had to face the facts. Clark was quickly becoming one of the most marketable athletes in women's sports. Her ability to draw in fans wasn't just based on her performance, although her skills on the court were a huge factor. Nike started to see that Clark's appeal extended beyond the typical basketball fan base. She was a name that people were talking about in different circles, and that kind of crossover appeal is incredibly valuable for a brand.
All the jersey sales numbers, we didn't actually see the actual numbers, but we saw the top jersey sales in the WNBA this season. And A'ja, despite being a third-time MVP, her jersey sales were 5th in the league, even after Kate Martin, who barely saw the court the second half of this.
This marked a turning point for Nike. Caitlin Clark was doing more than putting up numbers. She was drawing in new fans, reaching new demographics, and generating a level of excitement that was hard to match. Nike recognized the momentum and, as they've done with rising stars in the past, they knew it was time to adapt. Their promotional strategy began to shift, with more energy and resources being funneled toward Clark. Unsurprisingly, this shift didn't sit well with A'ja Wilson. For years, she had been one of Nike's leading WNBA athletes, hardworking, consistent, and respected. Seeing Clark rise so quickly and command the spotlight stirred feelings of jealousy and frustration. To Wilson, it wasn't just about attention, it was about equity. She felt she had earned her place through years of grinding, while Clark's ascent seemed, in her eyes, accelerated by factors beyond basketball. Wilson alluded to this sentiment in public comments, suggesting that Clark's rapid rise wasn't solely about talent. But the reaction to these comments wasn't what Wilson likely expected. Until then, she had been widely viewed as a humble star who let her game speak. Now, fans and media alike began interpreting her remarks as bitter and resentful. Some who had long supported Wilson started to question whether she could handle sharing the spotlight with a new face of the league. Meanwhile, Clark's appeal continued to grow. Her stardom wasn't just rooted in her basketball skills, it was in her connection with fans. She came across as relatable, charismatic, and above all, exciting. Every time she stepped on the court, there was a buzz, a feeling that something special might happen. That anticipation brought fans back game after game, but more than just watching her, fans wanted to follow her. They bought her jerseys, flooded her social media, and became emotionally invested in her journey. That kind of organic loyalty is rare, and brands like Nike notice. To them, Clark wasn't just an athlete, she was a movement. Tapping into her growing fan base promised massive returns, and for Nike, the decision to back her more aggressively became a no-brainer.
Currently the best player in the WNBA? Yes. Is Caitlin Clark currently the face of the WNBA? Yes. Do I think if A'ja Wilson dropped a shoe and Caitlin Clark dropped a shoe today at the very same time, that Caitlin Clark would outsell A'ja's shoe by 100 times? Yes, I think that would be.
Nike started releasing products associated with Clark, and the response was overwhelming. Jerseys with her name on them were flying off the shelves, and even simple merchandise like posters and t-shirts were selling out. Fans couldn't get enough of Clark, and Nike saw this as a huge business opportunity. The real game changer, though, was the anticipation for Clark's custom shoe. Fans had been waiting for this moment, and when Nike hinted that they were working on a shoe with Clark's name on it, the excitement reached new heights. Everyone knew that when the shoe finally dropped, it would sell out in minutes. Clark's fan base was dedicated and passionate, and they were ready to support her in any way they could. For A'ja Wilson, this was a tough comparison. When Nike had released her signature shoe, the reaction wasn't nearly as strong. While Wilson had a loyal fan base, it wasn't on the same level as Clark's. Wilson's merchandise sales were steady, but nowhere near the sellout numbers that Clark was generating. This was one of the key reasons Nike started shifting their promotional focus. It wasn't personal, it was just business. Clark's fan base was bigger, more engaged, and more willing to spend money on her products.
Stop being petty. Stop being catty, cause she like a double-edged sword. She cutting tail left and right, and it's bothering y'all, and I see it. Let's go, Caitlin. Hey, do me a favor, CC. Send your favorite uncle a jersey with your autograph on it. And being petty. Stop being catty, cause she like a double-edged sword. She cutting tail left and right, and it's bothering y'all, and I see it. Let's go, Caitlin. Hey, do me a favor, CC. Send your favorite uncle a jersey with your autograph on it, and I.